Hello, music lovers. I had you going there for a second. Like they're like, did we push play? Welcome to another week of sort of updates at Electric Avenue on this video channel. So this is kind of a weird week. There's not a lot going on this week. I just kind of wanted to check in with people and kind of let them know a few things going on. The big news, I guess, is that next week, October 15th, we will be getting the Beatles box sets for Let It Be. There'll be vinyl box sets, CD box sets, and then just regular reissues of those things, new mixes. I don't know why someone wouldn't want the box set if they could get it, just because to hear the Glenn Johns original production of that album before Phil Spector got a hold of it is sort of worth checking out in and of itself. So maybe that would be something of importance. Also that week, if I know I'm not really talking to maybe too many Mac Miller fans on here, but there is a Mac Miller Faces, his early mixtape is coming out next week. That was sort of a late edition, and if I mentioned this to someone yesterday, you know who you are, and they said, I don't know who you're talking about. And I don't blame you. I mean, it's, again, a sort of a generational thing, but Mac is extremely popular with the younger crowd, and he's probably one of the artists, I'd say, top three, maybe top five that I've sold the most copies of their records over the past year. So, anyway, he was from Pittsburgh. He was kind of a rapper slash singer, talented, kind of early loss for the music world. So there's that. Also, if you've been keeping track of Lucinda Williams, she has had a whole series of covers albums. Next week, the next two come out, which are one is 60s country stuff that she redoes, and the other one is Bob Dylan songs. They've been available digitally for a while. She's already released a Tom Petty tribute and a 70s soul album, and like sort of southern soul. And she's also got a Rolling Stones and a Christmas album on the way. So, and speaking of Rolling Stones, then the next week you have the Tattoo You box set coming out. And the 22nd is a really big week for other artists too. We've got Lana Del Rey, Duran Duran, My Morning Jacket. There's a White Stripes reissue series starting with White Blood Cells, Parquet Courts, Elton John. There's a lot. So all of a sudden, that week and then the following couple of weeks, actually up through Thanksgiving as far as we know. So let me just get started with some of the stuff that's here today, as my head moves ever closer to your camera, and you're going to see it a lot. Okay, so something that came in late last week and I didn't have when I did the video is Taylor Swift, Taylor's version of Fearless. As many of you know, Taylor Swift got into an argument with her management. Scooter Braun sold out the rights of her catalog underneath her, and she vowed that she was going to re-record everything and at least offer fans an alternate version, so all of the money wasn't going to these people she really had no love for. So this features the original album, but there's also 6 or 7 tracks from the vault on here, including duets with Maren Morris and Keith Urban. And so, I don't know, it's one of her better, and so I would say last country record, kind of country slash pop before she really went into the pop stuff. Supposedly Red is being released soon digitally, and I'm assuming that will be out on CD. And again, that's her version. I don't know if all this time doing reversions of albums takes away from doing original new material, but she seems to be able to crank out the new material too with no problem. Those the two albums that she released last year that were quite long. I mean, they were both double records. She has a wealth of material. So something that I haven't gotten on vinyl yet, hopefully very soon, but the CD is the new album from the record company, and it's called Play Loud. I guess if you're into sort of like Black Keys type stuff, that would be sort of up your alley. Sort of groovy kind of. There's a lot of reissues this week, but I'll get to those in a second. Another new release that is the new James Blake. This album cover is completely different than all of the ones I've seen advertised online, and this was delayed many, many times. It's called Friends That Break Your Heart. If you're not familiar with James Blake, he's sort of soul-searchy, R&B mixed with electronica, sort of haunting tunes, DIY kind of guy. But anyway, all right, so there's a ton of reissues again. This seems to be a big reissue week. Violent Femmes, Why Do Birds Sing? I think this is their fourth album. I can't remember because I think the third one was called Three. But anyway, this is, fifth. Sorry, their fifth album. First released in 91. Features American music and a deconstructional cover. It says, "Oh, do you really want to hurt me?" So maybe check that out. Another reissue is The Church, Starfish. This is on a 2 LP, 8 bonus tracks, 100% analog mastering, 180-gram vinyl pressed at RTI, approved by Steve Kilby. It's like $50, but it's nice. It's really nice. So if you're a Church fan, that's one of their best albums. Same thing with this band, Charlatans, which I guess here we go by Charlatans UK. This is their self-titled fourth album, contains the single Just When You're Thinking Things Over. Of course, they had sort of a tragic situation with their keyboard player dying, and he was so integral to their sound, but this is a really good album. A couple of things that we've had, and then they were out of stock for like months and just came back in. And I'm just showing them just so you know that we have them for very limited time because they were record store day things a few years ago, and everybody was like, I can't get them, I want them, and it was very hard. The first Garbage album, Shirley Manson and Company. This one was a big radio hit in the US. It had Stupid Girl, Queer, and Only Happy When It Rains. Those were the big hits from that. And then the second one I think I've shown before, version 2.0. This one has Push It, Special, When I Grow Up, I Think I'm Paranoid, and You Look So Fine. I think were the 5 singles out of 12 songs from that album. So give those a spin. They're not going to be around for very long, I don't think. Sort of an import pressing from another British band, Echo and the Bunnymen, Siberia. This is reissued on vinyl for the first time, and I'm trying to remember, 2005. So it's kind of a late record. A good record, though. Let's see here, what else? Just a hodgepodge of stuff. Bad Brains, Rock for Light. Yeah. This one says original 1983 mix remastered by Dave Gardner at Infrasonic Mastering. Produced by Rick Ocasek. It does not feel like 180 gram, just so you know, but at least, hey, if you want the Bad Brains record. Sugar Cult. I don't know if people remember this album at all or not. You know, I had a Drowning Pool record a couple weeks ago, which is another one from the 90s you might remember. This one's produced and mixed by Matt Wallace. And their album was pretty big for a while. It had Bouncing Off the Walls, Stuck in America. It includes 3 bonus tracks. Let's see, what else? As long as we're in the 90s, which I don't know. This might have been the turn of it's 2001. POD Satellite. First time on vinyl in 20 years. Their 2001 hit album with Youth of a Nation. Yeah, lots of reissues. Didn't get a lot of these, but Notorious B.I.G.'s Ready to Die. Let's see, his debut album has Big Papa and One More Chance. I think that's an artist that really doesn't need any explanation from me. Here's another artist that doesn't need any explanation from me, really, is Lou Reed, New York. This is one of his late period albums, 89, remastered on 2 LPs. Well, they had a box set last year that was the 2 LPs and then a bunch of discs like CDs and Blu-rays of concerts. This is just the album itself, but it is pressed on clear, crystal clear vinyl. So I guess that's sort of a collector's edition that way. This last few things are just sort of a hodgepodge of stuff again. Halloween, since we're in October here. And this is their gold vinyl edition of a self-titled album. I think it's a newer one. Yeah, 2021. It's on Nuclear Blast. Let's see. Another new record, Karen Paris of Innocence Mission. This is her album, A Song is Way Above the Lawn. I think the cover art is fairly descriptive of what the music sounds like. Innocence Mission is, husband and wife team, been around forever, it seems like, and she has such a distinctive voice when you hear it. If you don't know that's Karen Paris, you kind of hear it and then you never forget that that's her voice. So, really great stuff. Hank Jones meets Chic to I can't even say it. But it's a Hank Jones record. That's what it's been sort of billed as. And so it's kind of a African jazz sort of hybrid album. Sarala is what it's called. And another reissue, gosh, they just keep cranking them out. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. This is live in Paris 2019. So we've had live in Brussels, live in Adelaide, live in London. On top of 12 versions of Butterfly 3000 and reissues of Infest the Rat's Nest. I mean, that band knows how to crank out the vinyl. All right, and the last music thing I sort of wanted to talk about really is sort of this situation that we're finding ourselves in with not being able to actually get a lot of things that need to be coming out this year. And I'm just going to hold up. I have David Bowie's Man Who Sold the World, the picture disc version with the American cover, the second one, the official one. This came out earlier this year. And it's a great album, sort of like, I guess in a way, kind of a breakthrough album for him after Space Oddity sort of came and went as a single more than an album. But I don't want to diminish Space Oddity because that's a great album too. But there's a big Bowie box set coming, I've mentioned, called Brilliant Adventure. Covers his 90s material from Black Tie White Noise up through Hours. There's some live stuff in there, and obviously there's the unreleased Toy album, which is then being released as its own box set in January. I don't know if it seems opportunistic if the Bowie people are trying to break the bank here, but the vinyl box set of that it's 18 records, and the list price is $400. Which the last box set, which covered the 80s, was I think around $250 to $280. So it's quite a jump in price, and considering that a couple of those albums were single albums that are now being released as doubles to kind of increase the width of the grooves, the distance apart, and increase the fidelity. that's great. There's a couple instances where you just get a final side that's an etching, and artistically, hey, whatever, it's fun to look at. But these things are getting really expensive, and so I don't know, looking at ships waiting in the harbor out in New York and LA trying to deliver product and things, it just seems a little bit unnecessary in a way to go quite to those lengths. And I suppose if you're a Bowie fan, as I am, you like being a collector. Uh, when David Bowie in the 90s started getting involved with the internet and had those Bowie bonds that he was selling and tried to get his own sort of web server going, I was one of the first people that hopped on that. My first internet address was an iteration of my name and my wife's name at davidbowie.com. And we had that for a few years until he sort of dropped the whole thing because there was too much competition from AOL and people like that. So I am a diehard Bowie fan. So it's kind of, you put yourself in that position of, how far am I willing to put out to collect this artist when there are all these other people releasing great records too. Um, and that being said, whenever a Prince box set is announced, and there's a lot of rumors that Diamonds and Pearls is the next one that's coming, I'll probably be one of the first people in line for that. So it depends on the artist, I suppose, and what you're willing to do and pay for those people. But I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up on that sort of thing. Even today, there's been a lot of rumors about Adele releasing a new album. If it comes before Christmas, it's going to be kind of a surprise because I feel like the teasing cycle of singles now is so far out that it might not show up until March or April, and it could even be next Christmas at this point. So who knows? Because they have to make all that product. I mean, they're sort of probably focusing on like ABBA's big return right now, and reissuing Nirvana's Nevermind. That's another one that the box set's not coming until, at least the vinyl one, until May of next year. So you'll be able to get like a two record set before Christmas likely. Those, hopefully they'll make enough of those to meet the demand because we haven't had that record all year. Not new copies really. Um, what else did I want to say about that? I feel like I'm sort of rambling at this point. I don't want to waste any more of your time. But I will say, like, today was announced two 80s bands are issuing their first albums in 20 years in February, which are Soft Cell and Tears for Fears. So if you're a fan of 80s music, and the singles that are out seem to be really good. So maybe that's kind of, we're hitting sort of 80s nostalgia big time at this point too. Hey, I just wanted to thank everybody for being supportive about situation with my cat too. I don't know how she's hanging in there, but she's hanging in there. It was a week ago that we made a trip to the vet and we were planned like this was it. And she woke up that morning and started eating a little bit and was grooming her paws, and it was like, this cat is not ready to leave us yet. The will to live is strong with this one. So, and she's still rather young, so it's very tragic. But again, today was another day that we thought this is the end, and then she woke up and was eating more than she'd eaten since last week. So we're playing it by ear. I don't want to, diminish her life, but her quality of life is getting to be pretty tough to deal with. So that's the hard part, I suppose. But I'm gonna get choked up just talking about it. This is not supposed to be emotional. Anyway, you can see a lot of the new releases behind me. We've got the new Neil Young up here, the Live at Carnegie Hall, Buena Vista Social Club's reissue. The new Brandi Carlile, which is fantastic. If you haven't heard it, you need to hear her voice on there. I still am promoting the new Sufjan Stevens, Angelo DeAugustine record. I love that. Some other things here, Lindsay and Lord and Olivia. Yeah, Modest Mouse. Lots of good stuff. All right, next week I'm going to have a big video because of the Beatles and whatever else shows up. Yeah, so be on the lookout for that. Thanks, everybody, and I hope it's okay doing these once a week. I feel like if I did them every day, I would burn out like you wouldn't believe. So I try to do something. All right, I appreciate your viewing. Take care. Have a great weekend. Happy Columbus Day. I don't know if I can say that anymore. How woke are we here? All right, take care. Bye.